Hello there. I'm Scotty. You're not. Welcome back it to Sci-Fi Saturday. Today we're doing Cowboys and Aliens, a movie that I've heard of, never seen before, and I'm actually kind of underwhelmed by after watching it. The movie stars Daniel Craig, James Bond himself, and Indiana Jones himself, Harrison Ford, along with other stars like Walton Goggins, Olivia Wilde, Sam Rockwell, Clancy Brown, big names, big names. Um, so this was one of those movies I bought when I was gonna do like a comic book movie-a-thon that never really got going. I ended up just doing adding them to other stuff. I did the pick 10 comic book movies, but I didn't add this. Technically, this is like Time Cop, and it's a graphic novel, and it's not because they were pushing around this script for years, this idea, and it was turned into a graphic novel, which was then turned into a film later. So it's kind of that sort of thing. It's like Legion, right? The Exorcist 3 was originally Legion. It was originally going to be a script, and he couldn't. William Peter Blatty couldn't sell it to nobody, so he turned it into a novel, and then he made the film. You know, it's like that. Like they couldn't get the movie made, so they turned it into a graphic novel, and then it became a film. Originally, uh, Robert Downey Jr. was set to play our main character, uh, whose name was Zeke in the original graphic novel. But he bowed out to do the second uh, Sherlock Holmes film. And it would have been reuniting him and Jon Favreau because Jon Favreau directed this. And the direction of the film, it looks good. The action scenes and the alien stuff, when there's alien stuff, it's done real well. However, I feel like if you're going into this movie to see like a whole bunch of aliens and cowboy action, that's not what you get. It's a western first and foremost with alien stuff thrown in. So Daniel Craig plays Jake, a western outlaw who wakes up in the middle of the desert, in the west, old west, whatever, not remembering anything. His memory's a little foggy. Can't remember what his name is. He has this thing on his wrist that he doesn't know what it is, and he's trying to figure out what has happened. Eventually, he gets his memory back. He finds out his name is Jake. I don't know how to pronounce his last name. He's an outlaw. Harrison Ford plays Colonel. What was the name? What was the name? Because it was also. Shit. Now that's gonna piss me off because there was a connection to the movie with that name. Tell me it says it on the back. Dollarhide. Colonel Dollarhide, makes me think of Red Dragon or Manhunter. Not Francis Dollarhide, just Colonel something. What was it? Willard or something. Dollarhide. And he's sort of an antagonist in this until he ends up kind of joining Jake, you know. Uh, like I said, the Indian presence in this is kind of scarce, and that might have been the budget because it just feels like there should have been more alien stuff than there was. I felt like it kind of lacked in that, and when the aliens showed up, they weren't like they were basically drones. They didn't talk. They barely used any alien tech, and it was just like you know regular sounds if there was any sounds. You have Clancy Brown. Why not make him like the lead alien? He's done it before. Megas XLR, anyone? Yeah. So he could do an alien, but he plays like a doctor or something. So, uh, but yeah. There's also Olivia Wilde's character Ella, who is mysterious and that she knows Jake or knows about Jake. He doesn't know her, and she knows a lot more than you think. It turns out she's an alien, but not one of these aliens. She's from another alien race who's trying to help these cowboy humans defeat them. And because like she gets attacked by one of them, and then she heals herself, but then later sacrifices herself because I guess she can still die. She healed herself. I don't know. What's his name? This movie has a connection to Looper, as Paul Dano has a role in this. He's a complete total asshole at the beginning of this film. Then he gets abducted by the aliens, and then later when he's saved, he's a completely different person because of what's happened. But I have a feeling once he gets his memories back, he'll change. But I don't know. But by the way, at the end of the movie, Harrison Ford says, "I'm gonna change the sign to Dollarhide and Son," and I'm like, I never got that. It was like Dollarhide and Son, or Sanford and Son, but they're also a Sanford. They're also the Son is also a Sanford, or the Son is also a Dollarhide. So I don't know. I've heard that a lot, but no. Like I said, there's really not much. There's some decent action. When the action is on the screen, it's decent. But this is a Western first and foremost. So eventually Jake finds his old posse, but instead of just having them help take down the aliens, they gotta be antagonistic as well too. And I thought that was kind of a bad choice. With like, first of all, you had Harrison Ford who was already antagonistic, and then he joined them, and then later he meets his old gang, and they're like, "Oh no, we're gonna be," and they do sort of join up, I guess, but they're still kind of antagonists. Like I said, this movie is first and foremost a Western. So if you see the trailer, Cowboys and Aliens, pretty much all the stuff from the trailer is just all the alien stuff. The rest of the film is just a Western, which is not what I signed for. I did watch the sign up for. Excuse me. I watched the theatrical cut. There is an extended cut. I did not watch that. It's only 15 minutes longer, or 16 minutes longer actually. But I figured if that's the version that was in theaters, I should watch that one, right? A lot of people say, watch the extended versions. They're the ones that were in versions that were intended. But I just, I didn't want to watch a longer movie. Yeah. There's also like a love interest thing between Jake and Ella. They do kiss, which she's an alien, so it's kind of weird, but yeah. And then she sacrifices herself. If you like cowboy action, you're gonna like this. I think it's done pretty well. But again, like I've said, it's just kind of disappointing if you actually wanted to see cowboys and aliens. Because like early on in the film, they find Jake. Da 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 da. He's thrown in jail because he's an outlaw because he stole gold. By the way, the aliens are after gold, and I don't remember for the life of me. I can't remember if they said why. They just wanted it. Because at one point, I think Harrison Ford goes, "What are they gonna buy something with it?" And they're like, "No, it's a precious resource." Okay, for what though? Right? And so he has that thing on his arm. Daniel Craig does. And it's just confusing because at one point he's like just using it, and then later when she's like, "Oh, you gotta use that thing," he goes, "I don't know how," and I'm like, "But you've used it like 3 times already. You just do that, And again, much like not an issue, but a little nitpick, like with the Glass Onion or Knives Out, he's doing like a regular accent, kind of like this, and not his British accent, because of course that wouldn't work. So it kind of throws you off when you know he's British and he's kind of talking like this. It's not as extravagant as Benoit Blanc or Benoit Blanc, but it throws you off when you know he's British. And, yeah. I like Walton Goggins. You throw him in a Western. He was in Shanghai Noon, so I think he works. Excuse me, not worse. He works in a Western. He has that kind of. He can do that Southern accent. He works. Clancy Brown for a short role in this is pretty good. And of course, Harrison Ford is good. I guess Steven Spielberg produced this. I also heard DreamWorks, but I couldn't find it on the case. So I don't know. Otherwise, there's that connection too. Um, Overall, though, I did enjoy this, but not as much as I wanted to enjoy it. Like I keep repeating this, but I felt like there should have been more from. Well, it's not really called Cowboys versus Aliens. If it was Cowboys versus Aliens, I'd be completely disappointed. A movie called maybe that's why they called it Cowboys and Aliens, because they're not. It's not all. It's mostly Western stuff. So it's like you get the Western shootout stuff, right? Aliens are second to the Western stuff, and I felt like that shouldn't be the case, right? Like alien ships show up and then they just disappear, and then it's about recruiting other people to take on these aliens. And like I said, the aliens are nothing really. They don't talk. There's grunts and they're just kind of nah. They don't really have that big of a presence in the film, and that's a big negative for me. You know, but it looked good. They shot it out on location, so it looks real good in the cinematography and everything. And the effects, the special effects, the aliens, they don't look. They're not bad. They're actually pretty good. If it was this produced by Spielberg? Because I can see that. Produced by Brian Grazer, Ron Howard, Alex Kurtzman, Roberto Orsi, Scott Mitchell Rosenberg. Executive producer Steven Spielberg, Jon Favreau. Yeah. Yeah, so he's an executive producer. So yeah, I can see if he helped produce this, if he kind of had some input. I think he was the one who suggested that Jake and Ella kiss towards the end, which and while I'm on it, killing her off. I get that it was kind of an important sacrifice, but I don't understand. Like, I never understood you have a love interest. It's kind of like Rambo First Blood Part 2, where you have, the one female character sort of love interest, and as soon as the love interest stuff starts to get going, she gets killed off because Rambo needs more. And I say more because they already had enough motivation, but he needs more now to hunt down the Koreans or whatever they are. So, yeah, oh no, they're Vietnamese. They're Vietnamese. That's right. They're in Vietnam. The Vietnamese. So yeah, and here it's kind of the same thing. She sacrifices herself, and then they're able to finish off the aliens. But yeah, I'm gonna give it a high middle of the road. I think it's decent, but it just lacked that certain that I needed in this kind of. When you think of Cowboys and Aliens, it's just Cowboys, Indians, Indians. They're like more Cowboys and there's less Aliens. I need even parts Cowboys and Aliens. Make them talk. Give them purpose. We see the people who get abducted, and then that's just it. We don't see them till the end. Maybe one of the people gets abducted and kind of works from the inside to help get the others out. That'll be it for me to kind of try to help the story, I guess. But it's fine though. It's a fun time. I think you get some fun out of it, but it was kind of disappointing for me. Wanted to see more aliens and cowboys action. Really, it wasn't as much as you think there should be. But yeah, so it's a high middle of the road. But so, what are your thoughts on Cowboys and Aliens? Let me know in the comments below. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe. Thank you for watching. I was Sky, and I'll see you in the next one.